checking in again. I'm just gonna wedge this phone in there. That ought to work. Hey, I'm a brilliant director. I know that. Thank you very much. Anywho, so I'm talking how this restraining order that's been put on me because apparently I was stalking someone that I can't mention her name. Can't mention her name yet. Oh, okay, no, I'll stay on track. So apparently I was stalking her, so the restraining order prevents me from attending regular GP, prevents me from going to a laundromat where I've actually still got unfinished business. It's not just like, oh, I really like that laundromat. It's like, no, I've got shirts like being altered there and stuff, you know, like they got altercations going on. I mean alterations, they do alterations. I take clothes in there on the regular to get altered, and they got like my shirts there. Oh, damn. Bitches are fucked up, man. And so there's two things, and also Lentil Is Anything is a matter of her pride to mention, though many people and most people know that, like, you know, lentils is a way through sometimes, is a bit of a slack way through, though sometimes I live as a road dog, to be honest, you know, like just between places I set up to live. I'll go to work in a different suburb that I set up to live in. Just like, I'm happy to put a futon in the car and just be a road dog sometimes, you know. So Lentils Is Anything is good if I'm without a kitchen set up in my car that I'll get set up, you know. I'm about that, like, being self-sufficient, kind of the way that people are trying to push men to be and have been trying to push men to be since ever. Though at the same time, it's just like, for fuck's sake, a restraining order cuts me off from a place that's like pay as you feel, as in if you can't afford to eat somewhere and you don't have a kitchen to cook in, and yet you can, you know, like dress yourself up and you're clean enough to be in a social situation. It's like is a way through for people who are struggling with different things. So yeah, I mean, that is annoying. It's annoying for that to be part of the equation, especially because it's next door to the restaurant that the waitress works at that tries to claim that I was stalking her. And there's 3 or 4 main components to the official definition by the magistrate's court's terms of what stalking is, and it's like, you know, 3 of them are like the obvious things, you know. It's like real stalker shit. It's like following them home when they haven't invited you home, fucking harassing them and they've asked you to stop. Like, some of it's so obvious, and then there's this vague part of the stalking definition where it's like, if someone arouses apprehension or fear in someone, or, you know, is worded some way like that, and that's the angle they're trying to push. It's like they're trying to cut me off from a regular GP, laundromat, place to eat, an intersection, pretty much, like into, you know, one of my favorite suburbs, a place that I lived, and they're trying to do this all on the basis that me asking a girl out made her feel uncomfortable, and she couldn't be human enough to tell me that. Like, she's fucking cowardly girl. And yeah, I know, I've got the word ugly tattooed on my face, and it's like a bit of a psych out, I know. Though I approached her like a gentleman, and I accepted the decline of the invitation to the date like a gentleman, and I didn't interact with her after that. I didn't harass her, I didn't follow her home, and I go to fill out forms to apply to get this matter heard again, and they're asking me to provide her address. I'm just like, what the fuck are people doing out there in that system and in the police and in those restaurants? Like what do they think this is? Like, it's crazy bullshit. And there's like so many terms I can throw around, so many swear words, blah 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 blah. It's like disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. All that got me without faith in the law again, you know, like even more so than before. I was already skeptical of the law, I was already skeptical of police and, you know, the justice system, and, you know, I know shit's corrupt, I know people with money are corrupt, like all that stuff, all that conspiratory kind of like maybe like wealth jealous perspective or something, you know, like I've been there and I can relate to some of that and I agree with some of that, though to see this in real life and to be someone directly affected and to be pulled up by police, not even within the restraining order boundaries, and have them be like, oh, you're not supposed to be near here, you were creeping on some girl, is damn insulting, you know? Like, that is just like rubbing salt into a wound, and it's annoying. Like, I'll curse those cops. I'll curse those cops with a slow eating cancer, and they'll eat at their conscience and they'll eat at their intestines, you know? And well, now who's the psycho, blah 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 blah. And here's the other part of it, is it arouses such anger and confusion in me that I wind up nearly acting like the person they tried to make me out to be in the first place, and then it's just like, well, fuck, you know. Sometimes it seems like the only way to deal with something like this is to just allow people, like allow the village as what's happened to gather and say, oh, we don't like you, we're ousting you, though, because that's like old school stuff, it's like medieval stuff. We don't do that no more. Instead, people fabricate a story and take that story to the police, and it's what, like, how many people's word against mine, like against my own word, and the several friends that I got, because I don't really fuck with people, to be honest, like most of the time. Like, you know, the several friends I got that will stand up for me are also outsider type characters for the most part, and there's likely why we're amigos, amigas, girlfriends, like bros, family, whatever.